Matt Stetar turned old machines into millions, and he did it all himself. Matt Stetar's story starts in a small town in western Pennsylvania, where the landscape is dotted with old farms and construction sites. While other kids were playing video games or watching TV, Matt was out in the dirt with real machines. He grew up around heavy equipment like bulldozers and excavators. His family taught him how to fix engines, weld broken parts, and bring dead machines back to life. Most people saw rusty old equipment as junk, but Matt saw potential in every broken hydraulic line and seized engine. The culture in Matt's hometown was built around fixing things rather than replacing them. Money was tight for most families, so when something broke, you found a way to make it work again. This wasn't just about being cheap, it was about understanding how things worked, and taking pride in being able to solve problems with your hands. Matt absorbed this mindset from an early age, and it shaped everything he would do later in life. As a kid, Matt learned that if something was broken, you didn't throw it away, you figured out how to fix it. This thinking would later make him rich, but back then, it was just how he lived. He spent his free time in shops and construction sites, watching grown men work on massive machines. He asked questions and paid attention. The older guys appreciated his genuine interest and took time to teach him. By the time he was a teenager, Matt could diagnose engine problems, repair hydraulic systems, and weld broken parts better than many adults. Matt's education didn't come from textbooks. It came from getting his hands dirty and learning from mistakes. He would spend entire weekends helping neighbors fix their equipment, often working for free just to gain experience. Every broken machine was a puzzle to solve, and Matt loved the challenge. He developed an intuitive understanding of how mechanical systems worked, which would become the foundation of his future success. When Matt got older, he turned his hobby into a job. He worked in construction and land development, operating the same kinds of machines he had loved as a kid. But he always wanted more. He dreamed of owning his own equipment and working for himself. The problem was money. Good heavy equipment costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and Matt was just starting out. He watched other contractors struggle with debt from buying expensive machines, and he knew he needed a different approach. Matt started small, buying broken equipment that other people had given up on. He would spend his evenings and weekends fixing these machines, then sell them for a profit. This taught him even more about different types of equipment and gave him seed money to reinvest. He wasn't getting rich, but he was learning valuable lessons about business and building a reputation as someone who could fix anything. The work was hard and sometimes dangerous. Matt dealt with hydraulic fluid burns, cuts from sharp metal, and the constant stress of tight deadlines. But he loved the challenge of bringing dead machines back to life. Each successful repair felt like a victory, and each failure taught him something new. He was building skills that would serve him well in the future, even though he didn't know it at the time. Then Matt discovered YouTube. In the beginning, it wasn't about getting famous or making money. He just wanted to record his projects and maybe teach other people what he knew. He bought a cheap camera and started filming himself working on broken machines. His first videos were simple, no fancy editing or special effects. Just Matt, some tools, and a machine that needed fixing. He uploaded them without expecting much, thinking maybe a few people would find them interesting. The early days of Diesel Creek were humble. Matt would film after work, often in poor lighting with shaky camera work. He didn't have a script or a plan. He just turned on the camera and started working, explaining what he was doing as he went along. Sometimes he would make mistakes on camera, but instead of cutting those parts out, he left them in. This honesty would become one of his biggest strengths. Matt's natural teaching ability came through in these early videos. He had a gift for explaining complex mechanical concepts in simple terms. When he showed how a hydraulic system worked, viewers could actually understand. When he diagnosed an engine problem, he walked them through his thought process step by step. This educational value set his content apart from other creators who focused more on entertainment than substance. What happened next surprised everyone, including Matt. People loved his video. They liked watching him take apart engines and rebuild them from scratch. They enjoyed his calm way of explaining complicated things. Matt never got excited or dramatic like other YouTube creators. He just worked and talked. and somehow that was exactly what people wanted to see. Comments poured in from viewers who said his videos helped them fix their own equipment, or understand how things worked. The growth wasn't instant, but it was steady. Matt's subscriber count climbed from hundreds to thousands to tens of thousands. Each video performed better than the last. Viewers appreciated his authentic approach and genuine expertise. They could tell he wasn't faking his knowledge or putting on an act for the camera. In a world full of flashy content and fake personalities, Matt's honest approach was refreshing. Matt started paying attention to what his audience wanted to see. He noticed that certain types of projects got more views and engagement. Restoration videos were particularly popular, especially when he took something that looked completely hopeless and made it work again. He also learned that people loved seeing the process, not just the finished result. They wanted to understand how he figured out what was wrong and how he solved problems. The numbers started growing fast. Matt's channel, called Diesel Creek, went from a few hundred views to thousands, then millions. As more people watched, companies started paying him to show their products. Tool makers wanted him to use their equipment. Parts suppliers wanted him to mention their business. Suddenly, Matt was making more money from YouTube than from his regular job. The transition from hobbyist to professional content creator happened faster than he expected. At first, Matt was careful about sponsorships. He only promoted products he actually used and believed. This integrity helped him maintain his audience's trust, which became more valuable than any single sponsorship deal. Companies realized that Matt's endorsement carried weight, because his viewers knew he was honest. If Matt said a tool was good, they believed. This reputation allowed him to command higher rates for his sponsorships. Matt's revenue streams began to diversify. Beyond sponsorships, he earned money from YouTube ad revenue, affiliate links, and eventually his own merchant. He started selling branded t-shirts and hats that fans eagerly bought. The merchandise wasn't just about making money. It was a way for his audience to show their support and feel connected to the Diesel Creek community. But here's what made Matt different from other YouTube stars. Instead of buying expensive cars or fancy clothes, he put every dollar back into his work. He bought more land where he could store and work on machines. He built a better workshop with professional tools and equipment. He purchased bigger and better machines to restore and use in his video. Every investment was strategic, designed to improve his content and expand his capabilities. Matt's approach to money showed his long-term thinking. While other creators spent their YouTube earnings on luxury items that would lose value, Matt invested in assets that would help him make more content and generate more income. He understood that his success depended on his ability to consistently create high-quality videos, and that required the right tools and workspace. The land Matt bought wasn't just for storage, it became his laboratory, where he could test equipment, film videos and work on projects without worrying about neighbors or noise complaints. Having his own space gave him the freedom to be creative and take on bigger, more ambitious projects. It also meant he could work on his own schedule, filming when conditions were right instead of rushing to meet deadlines. Matt's property became something special. It wasn't just a place to work, it was like a playground for adults who love heavy equipment. He had acres of land with dozens of machines scattered around. There were old bulldozers, excavators, tractors and trucks. Some were projects he was working on, others were finished restorations that looked brand new. Matt even built his own trails and courses where he could test the machines and film exciting videos. The property told the story of Matt's journey. Near the entrance sat his first successful restoration, a bulldozer that had been completely seized when he bought it. Further back were newer additions, including some rare pieces of equipment that he had traveled hundreds of miles to acquire. Each machine had its own story, and Matt knew the history of every one. Visitors to the property often said it felt like a museum of industrial history, but one where everything still worked. Matt designed the layout of his property with filming in mind. He created scenic backgrounds for his videos, built structures that would provide good lighting, and established work areas that would be safe and efficient to film in. But everything also had to be functional. This wasn't just a set, it was a working facility where real work got done every day. The workshop Matt built was impressive. It had everything a professional mechanic could want: multiple welding stations, hydraulic lifts, specialized tools, and even a video set up just for filming. Everything was clean and organized. Matt's tools were the best you could buy, and his workspace looked like something from a magazine. But it wasn't for show. Matt used every piece of equipment regularly. The workshop was designed for efficiency, with everything positioned to minimize wasted motion and maximize productivity. Matt's tool collection became legendary among his viewers. He had invested in professional-grade equipment that cost thousands of dollars per piece, but he didn't buy expensive tools just to show off. Each tool served a specific purpose and made his work faster or more precise. He often explained to viewers why he chose certain tools and how they helped him solve problems. This educational aspect made his tool reviews valuable to both professionals and hobbyists. The filming area in Matt's workshop was carefully designed to capture the best angles and light. He had installed professional lighting systems, multiple camera mounts, and audio equipment that could pick up both his voice and the sounds of the machines. The setup allowed him to film from multiple angles simultaneously, giving viewers a complete view of complex procedure. As his YouTube channel grew bigger, Matt got smarter about money. He didn't just rely on video income, he bought rental properties that brought in money every month. He invested in a parts supply company, which gave him access to rare equipment parts and another source of income. Matt understood that YouTube fame might not last forever, so he built other ways to make money. By 2023, Diesel Creek had become one of the most popular heavy equipment channels on YouTube. Matt was making serious money from ads, sponsorships, and merchandise sales. His t-shirts and hats sold out as soon as he released them. Companies were paying him thousands of dollars just to mention their products in his videos. Matt had turned his hobby into a business worth millions. But success didn't change who Matt was. He still worked with his hands every day. He still got dirty and sweaty fixing machines. He still spent hours in his workshop, sometimes working all night to finish a project. The money gave him better tools and more opportunities, but it didn't change his work ethic or his values. Matt's personal life stayed simple too. He lived in a nice house on his property, but it wasn't a mansion. It was comfortable and practical, just like everything else in his life. His girlfriend, who fans called Mrs. Diesel Creek, often appeared in his video. They seemed happy and normal, not like celebrities who lived in a different world from their fans. What Matt built was different from what most rich people have. He didn't want fancy restaurants or expensive vacations. He wanted the freedom to work on what he loved, when he wanted to work on. He wanted to wake up on his own land, surrounded by his machines, and spend his days doing what made him happy. That was his version of luxury. Matt's success came from being in a world where many YouTube creators fake their personalities or create drama for views. Matt just showed his actual life. When something broke, viewers saw him really fix it. When he made a mistake, he showed that too. People trusted him because he was honest about everything, from his successes to his failures. The machines Matt worked on weren't just props for his videos, they were real projects that he actually used. When he restored a bulldozer, he would use it to clear land or build roads on his property. When he fixed a truck, he would drive it to pick up parts or haul equipment. Everything had a purpose beyond just making content. Matt's knowledge was real too. He had spent years learning about engines, hydraulics, and mechanical systems. When he explained how something worked, viewers knew they were getting accurate information from someone who really understood the subject. This expertise made his videos valuable to people who worked with similar equipment, not just entertainment for casual viewers. The community around Diesel Creek became something special. Fans shared their own projects and asked Matt for advice. He responded to comments and helped people solve problems with their own equipment. The channel became more than just entertainment. It was a place where people who loved heavy equipment could learn and connect with others who shared their interests. Matt's business grew beyond just YouTube. He started selling branded merchandise that people actually wanted to wear. His company began offering consulting services to other creators who wanted to build similar channels. He developed relationships with equipment manufacturers, who valued his honest reviews and practical knowledge. By 2025, Matt's net worth was estimated to be several $1 million. But if you asked him about his success, he wouldn't talk about money first. He would talk about the freedom to work on what he loved, and the satisfaction of building something real with his own hands. The money was important, but it was a result of doing good work, not the goal itself. Matt's story shows that you can build real wealth by focusing on what you're good at and caring about quality.
He didn't try to be someone he wasn't, or create fake drama to get attention. He just shared his genuine passion for heavy equipment, and let people see the real work involved in restoration and repair. The success of Diesel Creek proves that there's an audience for authentic content. People are hungry for real skills, honest work, and genuine passion. Matt provided all of that while building a business that gave him the life he wanted. He turned his childhood love of big machines into a career that most people would envy. Today, Matt continues to work on his property, restore machines, and create content for his millions of fans. He's built something that will last because it's based on real skills and genuine passion, not just internet fame. His story reminds us that the best success comes from doing what you love, and doing it well. Matt Stetar didn't just get lucky on YouTube. He combined his skills, work ethic, and business sense to build something bigger than just a channel. He created a lifestyle and a business that reflects his values and gives him the freedom to live on his own terms. That's the real success story behind Diesel Creek. Subscribe if you respect people who build their dreams with their own hands.